Welcome back to another Commercial Trucking Chronicles. I'm your host, Swizzy. Friday night. It's been a long day. Um, However, before the evening, before I shut it down for the evening, I just want to come over here and bring this information to you because it caught my eye. I actually need to, um, man, I kind of wanted to use the blue screen or the green screen in the background, but never mind. I'm going to talk about this right here. The reason I brought this up, this is going to blow your mind, okay? Um, I was in shock when I found out, and I did research to kind of fact check to see if this was true, if this information wasn't something made that was false, and you can go look it up for yourself, okay? Apparently, there was an Iranian refugee that he was traveling abroad, and for some reason or another, he wind up getting detained while passing through an airport. I guess when he hand over that passport, documents or something wasn't right. And of course, you know how it is when you got to go through the immigrations or you go through customs or whatever it is. You know, if your documents are not right, and I think that he was leaving the country. He was leaving the country trying to go back home to his homeland, which, now I don't know what his travel plans were because I didn't look that up. But I did find out that he was detained. And the shocking thing about it was, you know, the extent of the time that he had been detained for. You know, you think, okay, well, you get these people that, you know, and I get it, you know, some people sometimes, you know, they overstay their visa. Um, some people, for whatever reason, it might run out, and you know it has to be renewed, and you know he could have been somebody that was somewhere with a a certain because a lot of times when you go to these countries, um, there's a certain amount of time before you have to report to immigration, right? And so a number of things can happen. You can wind up getting stopped when you're trying to leave the country because you might have missed a visit or an appearance that you had during your stay. Um, and it's always encouraged that if you are going to travel abroad, that you do know the laws and the limit, the time frame that you might be able to stay in a country. Because once you stay longer than that time frame, then they're going to red flag you when you come through the airport. They're going to red flag you, right? With this particular fellow, his story is pretty. It's one that it just, like I said, it caught my attention, and I was like, wow, they can do that. Of course, they can do that. You see it every day out here. They're detaining people, right? Um, Deporting people, but they didn't deport this guy. They detained him. When I tell you how long he was detained for, you'll be shocked. So let's get into some of the other details about these travel, laws. There are travel laws, right? Especially when you're going in and out of the country. And people, more and more, you're starting to see people do, the nomads. They also go like gypsies and people that are just, like passport nomads. People do border runs, right? And they just, they sneak into the country. There's people that's like they're doing now. They illegally entering into the country. They don't have any documents, and that's a big problem. But for this gentleman, his name is, well, I don't want to say his name wrong, but I'm going to try to say his name. Murham Karimi Nasari. Murham Karimi Nasari. He's an Iranian. He was an Iranian refugee, and he was in Paris. He was in Paris when he was detained. Get this: 18 years they kept him. Wouldn't let him leave the country. Go look it up. He died in the airport. He spent 18 years in, you know, they say he lived in the terminal. He couldn't catch a flight home. His paperwork wasn't right. He didn't have the proper documents to board a flight leaving Paris, and he stayed for 18 years. That's why you gotta have your papers right. That's why you gotta have your papers right. You can't just enter into another country illegally. Immigration don't play. Immigration's not gonna play with you. And like these ICE agents, they out here, they ain't playing. They got a job to do. It's a serious issue when you're somewhere where you're not supposed to be, especially if you overstay your visa or you overstay your time. You know what I'm saying? You can get in big trouble. You can get thrown in jail. You're in big trouble, thrown in jail, fines, and then they'll detain you and they won't let you go, right? And then you ultimately just wind up rotting in your jail or somewhere and die. That's crazy. So, I got all my documents. I'm telling y'all, I'm trying to tell you, you know, the seriousness of, the immigration issue that we have here in this country is just that. All right, don't misinterpret the seriousness of all the illegals, right? Because the people that entered into the country legally, they're fine. They have nothing to worry about. They can come and go as they please, as long as they're, following the proper rules and regulations. All right. Share this video with somebody that you know that has such a, hate for what these people are doing. Because, what's supposed to happen? I mean, poor guy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we do feel sorry for these people, but they do have to be held accountable for not following the law. But you don't want to get yourself in a situation like that. You definitely don't want to be in his shoes, or he's in a casket right now. But just make sure that if you're issued one of these, if you apply for one of these and they issue it to you, follow all the rules. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that you are reporting. If you get your visa, make sure that you're reporting to the embassies or to the immigration offices and stuff like that. This is, the Democrats watered it down so much because they didn't want people to follow the rules. They were just saying, come on into the country illegally, all right? Now, this man spent 18 years detained. Now, I'm not saying that he didn't legally enter the country, but he wound up when it was time for him, I guess, to board a flight leaving, he was over in Paris. The Paris immigration people in the airport stopped him and were like, you can't, no, wait a minute. I guess there was probably a fine that was, he might have overstayed his time. He was detained for 18 years. He ultimately died in that airport, in there where they were keeping him at, right? Go look it up. His name was Karimi, Murham Karimi Nasari. He was a refugee from Iranistan. Oh no, Iranian. He's an Iranian refugee. Okay, so, but share this video, like this video. Let me know in the comments if you actually they made a movie about this. There was a movie. He inspired a movie. I forget the name of that movie. But he that because of that, it inspired some movie or something. But share the video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe to this channel, and I'll bring some more news or information, not news, but stuff like this. Like bring some awareness to you guys, man. Let you know. So very important to follow the rules. Make sure that your passport and everything is up to date. Don't get yourself caught up in no kind of, if you're traveling, please, they're not playing, and especially not here in this country, they're not playing. They will detain you. There's a lot of people they got right now that they're being detained and call them, oh, they put them in concentration camps or whatever. Man, you know what? These people have been doing this. Immigration is enforced all throughout the world. Go to Paris and see what happens. They held him for 18 years till he died because he didn't have the proper documents. So, where were the protests with that? I don't know. I wasn't, when that happened, there probably were protests. I don't know. It inspired a movie. I do know that. So there was a movie behind this man, right? Go look it up. Go look it up, all right? I appreciate you guys. I'm getting ready to get some rest, man. I've been up. It's been a long day. It's been a long week, man. You know what I'm saying? Friday night. I don't hang out like I used to, so I'm tired. I'm going to go get me some sleep, and I'll be back in the morning, Lord willing. Hopefully you're there. Come check me out. Check in with me. I put video up. Yeah, have a good night.